Hey, well, I just posted a video, I think, what was it, yesterday? Um, I got an update because I talked to my doctor who's kind of been overseeing my whole transplant journey. And of course, he's kind of in charge of this situation where I now have COVID. And I'm doing really well as far as the COVID is concerned. It's not transferred into my respiratory system, as I had mentioned in my earlier video. But there is one major concern, and it potentially could be quite serious, even fatal. And that is that, because of the anti-rejection medications that I'm taking for other reasons, my white blood cell count in my blood is extremely low. Certainly lower than needed at this juncture to fight off this COVID and to prevent it from, attacking my respiratory system because, once it lodges into your lungs or whatever, it can manifest itself as something like pneumonia or some other type of infection. And that's when the real, potential fatal consequences could contaminate. So he has been prescribing, along with the remdesivir. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's kind of the standard treatment that they try to get people, as soon as they start having symptoms, and. So they wanted me to have at least 3 treatments of that. And today I will get my 3rd treatment of that. But along with that, they've been giving me these injections I don't remember exactly what the medication is called, but it's basically designed to stimulate the production of more white blood cells. And of course, it's the exact opposite of what the anti-rejection medications are doing, which is to suppress my immune system. Here they're trying to boost it. So it's a balance between the two. At any rate, today I will get my, 2nd or 3rd injection of this. And I don't know if I got one Saturday, but I certainly got one yesterday. And I'm getting another one today. And he's thinking I may need as many as 5 more. But that will only be known as I take, as they draw blood and test for my white blood cell count each day. So for that reason and that reason alone, because my IV treatments will end today, they will take this PICC line out of my arm probably an hour before I leave. And but as of today, I won't really need it. So the question is whether or not to send me home after today, like maybe tomorrow, and have me come in as an outpatient, to get the blood work done, wait around an hour or 2 until they get the results, and then give me the injection if the white blood cell count is still low. It's still significantly lower than where they want it. And so it's kind of an unknown of whether I'm going to need another injection, 2 more injections, 3 more injections, 5 more injections. At any rate, so we've agreed that they're going to let me go home tomorrow. They will take this PICC line out tomorrow. I will take a blood test in the morning. They'll give me an injection again tomorrow. And then I'll be free to go home. I will, because I'm immunocompromised and because of the lung transplant, COVID is going to stay with me a lot longer than it would be a normal person. A normal person, their body will fight it off, especially a mild case like mine, within 10 days. I think the CDC guidelines is usually, for most people that have a very mild case or no symptoms at all, they're told to isolate for 5 days, and for the next 5 days, you can go back to work or whatever, but wear a mask for another 5 days. Either way, for most people, 10 to 14 days, this thing runs its course. That's not going to be the case with me. They're saying that I will probably test positive for quite some time, maybe a month, maybe 3 months. However, the amount of time that I'll actually be contagious probably be around 3 weeks from the time I first, had symptoms. So if that's the case, tomorrow or Wednesday would probably be maybe a week since I first had symptoms. So by that measure, I would think we're looking, going into the first week of February at least, where I've really got to isolate and be careful, around Dustin or anybody else, wear a mask, and kind of isolate myself, keep myself away from other people. And, when Dustin's at home, I'll probably have to confine myself to a room where he's not in to protect him. Because even though he caught it and now is over it, the strain that they presume that I have, one of these new strains, just getting it doesn't prevent you from getting it again. They're just as susceptible to getting it again. So, which brings me to the last thing I wanted to bring up in this, in this video, and that is, I've asked everybody, and nobody knows the answer to this. You read every day about how, the prevailing strain of the virus is this XBB, particularly in the Midwest. I think out west on the East Coast. The XBB strain makes up anywhere from 40 to 60% of all new cases. Those are the people that are supposedly, getting COVID. And the truth is, all of the previous strains are out there. So presumably you could catch any of them. You could catch the Alpha strain, which is the original strain. It's still out there. You could catch the Delta strain, which is the strain that they based the first mRNA, vaccine and vaccine boosters on. You could get any of the family of coronavirus or Omicron viruses of the COVID. These would include the BF, I don't know what BFA, whatever those were. And out of those came this BK1 and BK1.1 and this XBB. They're all part of the Omicron family. And the thing about the Omicron family of viruses is that they are much more highly contagious than the earlier versions, although they tend to be less severe, less deadly for most folks. So the people that are dying from these new strains tend to be people like me that have other issues and or are much older. And while they say that the boosters and vaccines aren't giving you the same protections that they gave you from the earlier strains, they're still saying that the most significant thing you can do to protect yourself from these new strains is to get the most recent, booster. So you haven't done so, do so. At any rate, so that's what's going on. I will be going home apparently tomorrow. I will be coming back here every morning to get blood work. I'll probably have to stick around about 2 hours before they get the results. And at that point, they will check what my white blood cell count is and give me an injection. And when they finally get that white blood cell count up to a level that they feel is sufficient, I'll probably be able to stop those injections. Whether that'll be, 1, 2, or 5 days, it's just unknown. There's also the possibility that those injections won't do the trick. And as of right now, that's not a major concern because my symptoms have all gone away. I haven't had a fever. I haven't had the chills. I haven't had much of a, headache or lightheadedness. I've actually been healthier the last 24, 48 hours. than I was when I came in or the week preceding. So, what we're trying to prevent is this to get worse. And in particular, we're trying to prevent it from reaching my lungs. And as of now, it hasn't. So all things are positive at this point. We've got to hope that between these remdesivir antiviral or whatever they are, anti-COVID treatments, and the and the boosters to my immune system, that that I remain okay. Now the truth is, there's been several other patients under my doctor's care who, like me, are lung transplant patients who have come down with COVID and come through it just fine. So all things look positive at this point, but like I say, nothing is certain. And so, the next week or so will be kind of critical. But I feel that I will be actually probably in better condition at home, where I will be able to tend to my own needs a little quicker. Here it takes an hour for them to bring your food up when you order it, so your food is always cold. I get my medications late, sometimes an hour or more late, because the nurses are busy with other more critical patients at the time when something is supposed to be done, or a lot of little annoying things like a remote control thing won't work, or I can't adjust my bed or something like that, and or like I'm taking an IV and the alarm goes off because it's done, and nobody comes in for a half hour, and I can't watch the last half hour of the Browns game because this thing is blasting, and nobody's coming in to, again, because the nurses are kind of overwhelmed. So, most of those kind of things I can take care of at home on my own. So it's probably a little less expensive for me to come drive up here every day, even though it's more than an hour drive, than to, sit here and occupy the room just because I need a blood test and an injection every day. So anyway, so that's what we've chosen to do. If things, of course, take a turn for the worse, I'll be back here. But I'm optimistic. I think I'll get through this just fine. I'm going to take some special precautions. Dut, I think, and of course he's going to have a lot to say about this too, but he's coming to pick me up tomorrow. When we are together, we're going to both be double masked and be very careful. We're going to try as much as possible when we're at home, when he is at my house. I'm going to try to put myself in a room where we're not necessarily in the same room together most of the time. If we are, we're both going to be masked and, keep our separate ways. I won't ask him to spend the night. I'll either let him take the car back to his house if he's going to come back the next day, or if not, I will, run him home and come back. But, I've reached a point where I can do more for myself right now. If that changes, we'll have to look into that. But it's looking like it could be about maybe as many as 3 weeks before, I'll be completely over this and not contagious. Could be sooner. So, a week from now, I'll probably start home testing myself. And, every other day or so until I see if I test negative. I've got enough home test kits, to do that on a regular basis. So anyway, that's the update. And overall, I'm doing really well. So, that's the good news. I want to show you a little bit of my room. I've got a little bigger room here. They've got a little desk there that I've had to use. I've got this wonderful view of the University Hospital's system and the parking garage, and Case Western Reserve University is on the other side of those buildings. This is my bed, my monitor. If you look out this way, I've got more machines here, but none of them are hooked up to me. I've got, there's the door. There's a sink counter with a sink there. There's another sink and a counter there. The bathroom is over there, and of course it has a sink and and a toilet, and so this is a bigger room, which is good because I'm not allowed to leave it. So I'm going to let you go. Nurse is here with my food, and see you again real soon.